What began as a quiet September afternoon in 1984 turned into a tragedy that shook the peace of a tranquil neighborhood in Tucson, Arizona. Vicki Lynn Hoskinson, an 8-year-old girl, had set out with the innocent task of sending a birthday card to her aunt. Few could have anticipated the events that would follow, leaving an indelible mark on the community and its justice systems. At 3 p.m., Vicki rode off on her pink bike, excited about her first responsibility alone. However, when her sister Stephanie returned home earlier than expected, Vicki had not yet come back. Alarm bells went off when Stephanie found Vicki's abandoned bicycle on the side of the road. The bike was her prized possession, and leaving it behind made no sense, generating a wave of concern among her family and neighbors. The neighborhood soon transformed into the epicenter of an intense search. Local authorities and the FBI quickly became involved, aware that time was crucial in cases of missing children. Neighborhood witnesses reported seeing a dark car, a black Monte Carlo with California plates, lingering in the area. Additionally, a small child claimed to have seen a big girl get out of a car after it hit Vicki's bike, taking the girl away with her. The investigations led to Frank Jarvis Atwood, a man with a troubling criminal history, including child molestation. The car he was driving matched the descriptions provided by witnesses, and forensic evidence revealed that the paint from Vicki's bike was found on its bumper. Despite the circumstantial evidence, a crucial element was missing: Vicki's body. 3 weeks later, authorities arrested Atwood on charges of kidnapping. The community, outraged by the disappearance of one of its young members, united in protests demanding justice and stricter laws against sex offenders. Meanwhile, investigators continued searching for Vicki's body, aware that finding it was key to securing a murder conviction. Finally, in April 1985, a woman walking her dog in the desert found small human remains. Analysis confirmed they belonged to Vicki. The discovery allowed prosecutors to bring murder charges against Atwood. 2 years later, in a trial that captured national attention, Atwood was found guilty and sentenced to death. Vicki Hoskinson's shocking case led to legislative changes in Arizona and served as a catalyst for activism in favor of child protection. Her mother, devastated yet determined, channeled her grief into positive change, ensuring that Vicki's memory would be a beacon for social improvement. This tragic crime not only highlighted communities' vulnerabilities to child abuse, but also demonstrated the power of a united community in seeking justice. Despite the time that has passed, the smell of the air in September and the sound of helicopters that participated in the search remain vivid memories for those who experienced those days. Her legacy is a more vigilant community and stricter laws, reminding us all of the importance of protecting the most vulnerable among us. If this story moved you, consider subscribing and leaving your like to support us in spreading this type of content. The case of Carly Grett immerses us in a complex scenario where mental health, family dynamics, and juvenile criminal justice intersect. In March 2024, at the age of 14, Carly was accused of a shocking crime. She murdered her mother, Ashley Smeel, and shot her stepfather, Hit Smeel. These events sparked a profound discussion on how our society handles such situations, especially when minors are involved. On the night of the crime, a desperate 911 call from Hit Smeel revealed the severity of the situation. He reported that his stepdaughter had shot him and that his wife lay dead. Security camera recordings in the house provided clarity, showing that Carly had planned the attack, discarding the initial idea of an intruder. Carly's life was fraught with complications. School problems, marijuana use, and self-harm were significant issues. These factors, combined with a tense family structure, created a breeding ground for disaster. Ashley had discovered her daughter's secret life, leading to a conflict that culminated in tragedy. The defense pointed out that Carly's mental issues might be hereditary. They traced back to her biological father, who had his own mental health struggles. During the trial, the prosecution presented her as a calculating young woman. They relied on evidence like her personal diary, which contained disturbing statements about good and evil. This contrasted with the defense's portrayal of her as a young girl trapped in a mental health crisis. The defense argued that her crisis was exacerbated by psychotropic medications. Psychiatrists testified about how her medications might have affected her perception and behavior. However, the prosecution insisted on her conscious guilt. The court faced the challenge in balancing the law with compassion for a troubled young woman. Images of Carly laughing during the trial didn't help her case, perceived as a lack of remorse and cementing the jury's view of premeditated malice. The fact that the jury took only 2 hours to declare her guilty shows the strength of the evidence presented against her. Carly's sentence to life without parole is unusual for teenagers, sparking intense debates about juvenile justice and the treatment of mental illnesses within the legal system. The case reflects the urgent need for justice systems to adequately integrate mental health evaluation and rehabilitation programs into judicial proceedings. Carly Grett's story highlights the challenges we face as a society in handling mental health and justice. It underscores the importance of early intervention and strong family support. A holistic approach to addressing problematic juvenile behavior is essential. This case serves as a call to evaluate how our institutions can prevent other youths from falling into similar spirals. These spirals could lead to avoidable tragedies. As we reflect on the case, it is crucial to consider how we can improve support systems for at-risk youth. We must ensure that warning signs are not overlooked and that appropriate help is prioritized over punishment. Carly Grett becomes a reminder of the fine line between youth and criminal responsibility. There is a need for a system that seeks well-being and rehabilitation over mere punishment. The Alton Coleman and Deborah Brown is one of the most disturbing and chilling examples of serial crime in American history. Their violent odyssey of murders and kidnappings spanned several states, generating deep anguish and fear in the affected communities. Starting in May 1984 with the disappearance of young Bernita Witt, FBI agents faced a complex maze of clues, unsettling testimonies, and the constant pressure to apprehend the fugitives before they caused further havoc. As the investigation unfolded, a clear profile of Alton Coleman emerged. He was a complicated criminal with a history of sexual assault and a disturbing ability to seduce and deceive his victims. From the outset, investigators knew time was of the essence. Bernita had been last seen in the barrack company of Coleman, making her capture a top priority. However, the social context and the state of technology at that time further complicated the search for the suspects. The violent nature of their crimes escalated quickly. With his girlfriend Deborah Brown by his side, Coleman demonstrated a chilling ability to move from state to state, leaving a trail of terror and bodies in his wake. Accounts of their attacks, which included both children and adults, culminated in the discovery of multiple corpses, showcasing not only their brutality, but also their capacity to blend into society. The pressure to capture them intensified when media attention was leveraged by the FBI, allowing for a coordinated approach between different jurisdictions. The collaboration among officers from various localities proved crucial in piecing together this macabre puzzle. Through a vigorous search campaign, tips began to trickle in, and slowly the noose tightened around Coleman and Brown. Finally, after weeks of terror, the fugitives were arrested. The evidence against them was overwhelming. Multiple charges of homicide, kidnapping, and assaults linked to the horrific crimes they had committed, including the murder of Bernita and other innocents. Justice was served, although many wondered what could have been done to prevent these atrocities from occurring. Coleman's trial revealed not only his monstrosity as a criminal, but also how his life had been marked by violence, a violence that manifested in his interactions with innocent women and children. In the end, justice was delivered, but the shadow of his crimes remained etched in the memory of survivors and the families of the victims. The story of Alton Coleman and Deborah Brown serves as a chilling reminder of how far human evil can go. It also highlights the importance of law enforcement cooperation and the need for a quick response in cases of disappearances. Despite their capture, the legacy of their violence lingers, reminding us to always pay attention to warning signs in our community. For those who wish to continue exploring this case and others like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like to support the content. What strategies do you think could be implemented today to detect and prevent crimes of this nature?
In the 1990s, Seattle was besieged by a series of bank heists that left both authorities and the local community on edge. At the heart of this criminal whirlwind was Hollywood, a masked robber. He took the cat-and-mouse game with law enforcement to another level. This master of disguise, known for his ability to transform and evade police, committed 14 bank robberies. He amassed a haul of over $1.2 million before facing his final big challenge. Hollywood's heists were bold and meticulously planned, from the use of theatrical disguises to complex strategies. These strategies aimed at distracting authorities. Each assault was a masterpiece of deception and precision. Agents on the case were consistently baffled by Hollywood's ability to vanish. He vanished without a trace after each robbery. This audacious figure moved with an almost ghostly fluidity, leaving behind a trail of vague and perplexing clues. He defied logic with each new crime. Throughout his criminal career, Hollywood proved to be a formidable adversary. Law enforcement, stalled by the lack of significant leads, made the decision. They organized a multifaceted task force in hopes of catching the thief in the act. Psychological profiling suggested that the perpetrator might be someone with prior weapons handling experience. Perhaps even an ex-police officer, given his methods and knowledge of security procedures. With each robbery, the essence of Hollywood became more enigmatic. He changed disguises with disconcerting ease, and although he was always armed, there was no known case of him firing a shot, which added to his mystique. This behavior pattern posed a challenge to authorities who speculated about his true motivations. When the FBI finally cornered his accomplices, it was revealed that behind the sophisticated, criminal facade was a local actor who, under pressure, could not withstand the coordinated operation of law enforcement. However, Hollywood, true to his style, did not surrender. He did not surrender without one last dramatic act. Hollywood's accomplices, arrested after a shootout during their escape, provided valuable yet non-decisive clues regarding his whereabouts. These situations added more tension to the case, raising concerns not only about the eventual capture of the robber, but also about the safety of involved agents and the public. Despite being cornered, the man behind the mask exploited every gap of disarray to play his best role, the elusive bandit dodging traps and fueling the legend. The culmination of this pursuit arrived in a trailer where Hollywood hid, opting to face his fate, knowing that the weight of his actions and the mantle of his reputation had reached an inevitable conclusion. His ending left an open question about the limits of human ambition and the fine line between reality and theatrical performance when crime dons a mask. How far are we willing to go to hide who we truly are? If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to leave your like and subscribe for more intriguing content.